কথা নাই জাহিদকে স্পেক্টেট দিতেই হবে এখন
না না ভাই ইয়ারটা দাও ইয়ারটা স্পেক দাও আমার স্পেক দাও আমি দেই
ভাই না না ভাই তোমার খেলা মজা হইব না
দাঁড়ান দেখি তো কোনটা
ভাই
রেজাল্ট
চিল্লাইতেছে
আমি নামটা লিখতেছি
চিল্লাইতেছো না
আমি তোমাকে
এই এনিমিটি বলে ইয়া করছে হানাসং
ওই এসকিটি হানাসং
ও হানাসং ভাই জাঙ্গল করতেছে
নাইস
ভাই ওরে তো পিটাইছি
ও তুমি ছাড়ো না র‍্যাঙ্ক চালু
ভাই র‍্যাঙ্কে পিটাইছি ওরে ওয়াট
দুটো র‍্যাঙ্কে
কবে পিটাইছিলা কয় বছর আগে
10-12 বছর আগে
হানাসং মাত্র জয়েন করছিল আমি নাই পিটাই
হইতে পারে
দৌড় ভাই এই হানাসং নামটা আমার মনে আছে গো পিটাইছে দেখা
হানাসং রিসেন্টলি দিছে মানে আইছি
2 দিন হলো মনে
ওর নাম তো ইয়া ছিল এই যে
797
আরে না ওইটার পর আরেকটা নাম ছিল তো একদিন
সরা সেরাফিয়া
ভাই সাদি হ্যাঁ ওরেই তো সেটা আমি আগে র‍্যাঙ্ক খেলতাম না ওয়াট
ডুও করতা
পড়তো তো
ও আমি বুঝছি ভাই ডুও কইরা বুঝছি এক টিমে কইরা বলে মাইর খায়া বাস দিয়া দিছে
অপোনেন্ট পড়তো তো ওয়াট অপোনেন্ট পড়তো
ভাই আমি ভাবছি যে তুমি ওরে মানে লিটারালি পিটাইছো তুমি যেমনে
তোমার কি
মাইর খায়া ওরে বাস দিছো
ওই পোলা তখন গোল্ডে ছিল বুঝছো তো আমরা তো পিটাইছি 2 বছর আগের কথা
ওরা
টাইম চেঞ্জ
জাহিদ তো মেরে দিল
সো এই যে এটা খুবই জোস এখন প্রাইস কত
ভাই আমি তো মোবাইলে এটা ইউজ করব
মোবাইলে আচ্ছা মোবাইলের জন্য হলে
আচ্ছা রেজারের কি না
রেজারের মোবাইলের একটা আছে
হ্যাঁ আছে ওটা ভালো
ভাই একটু খুঁজে বের করে দেন তো ওরে
ভাই আমি খেলা দেখতাছি
এখানে হার্ডওয়্যার দিয়ে দেখা যাবে
দেখো
রেজারের একটা আছে ওটা অনেক ভালো সাউন্ড দেয় ওটা দেখতে পারো
ওটা হ্যামারহেড প্রো
মডেল মনে নাই হ্যাঁ ওই বই এরকমই আছে দেখলে মনে পড়বে
আমি সবগুলা দেখি যে কোনটা
Of what a SIMD architecture is. So SIMD refers to single instruction multiple data, where you have, let's say, a single add instruction that is applied over a number of small data elements. And so typically each one of these data elements is a relatively small operand. So for example, it could be an 8-bit operand. And if what you have at your disposal is a 64-bit ALU, what you can do is you can pack a number of these 8-bit values into, let's say, a 64-bit register. A 64-bit register can be composed of 8-bit values, and you can feed these 64-bit register values to this ALU, and the ALU itself is decomposed into multiple subunits, where each subunit performs adds on 8-bit operands. So if you provide this additional support, you can increase your throughput greatly if you're working with operands that have relatively narrow values. And the single biggest example of where this is useful is when you're doing image processing, because when you're dealing with images, each pixel is typically represented by an RGB value, where the R component is an 8-bit value, the G component is an 8-bit value, and so on. And when you perform manipulations on these images, you're applying the same operation on every single pixel and on every single RGB component of those pixels. So this is where single instruction multiple data architectures are most useful. So GPUs are taking this basic component of SIMD and then pushing it to an extreme so that you can maximize the number of these operations that can be performed on a single chip. So GPUs were essentially designed as graphics accelerators. They were used so you could do image processing applications really fast. But it turns out that there are many scientific applications, there are many general purpose applications that do exhibit high levels of data parallelism, where the same operation is applied across a large number of values. And even those applications can be modified to run successfully on GPU. So that's referred to as a GPGPU, where the GPU is being used to execute general purpose programs. And this transition has become easier thanks to good programming interfaces. So there's CUDA from NVIDIA, there's OpenCL from a number of other companies. And all of these make it possible to write, C on a GPU applications one and the component of those pixels. So this is where single instruction multiple data architectures are most useful. So GPUs are taking this basic component of SIMD and then pushing it to an extreme so that you can maximize the number of these operations that can be performed on a single chip. So GPUs were essentially designed as graphics accelerators. They were used so you could do image processing applications really fast. But it turns out that there are many scientific applications, there are many general purpose applications that do exhibit high levels of data parallelism, where the same operation is applied across a large number of values, and even those applications can be modified to run successfully on a GPU. And so that's referred to as a GPGPU, where the GPU is being used to execute general purpose programs. And this transition has become easier thanks to good programming interfaces. So there is CUDA from NVIDIA, there is OpenCL from a number of other companies, and all of these make it possible to write C or C++ based programs that can partially run on a host CPU and partially run on a GPU. And so this leads to a heterogeneous system that has both a host CPU as well as a GPU. And you can also buy chips today where both the CPU and the GPU are found on a single chip. So now let's look at the basic architecture of a GPU. So let's first take a look at the application itself, right? So let's say that the application wants to go over a large amount of data. That's what I'm showing you in this box. And there is a large amount of data level parallelism. That is, I'm applying the same operation across all of these data elements. So I'm going to partition this entire workload across the many units of a GPU. The first thing I do is I take this entire data set and I partition it into many thread blocks. So each one is referred to as a thread block. And then if I look at my GPU hardware itself, the GPU hardware itself is broken up into a large number of what are called SIMT cores. So one thread block is made to execute on one SIMT core. The thread block itself is partitioned into what are called warps. So each one of these is referred to as a warp. So one SIMT core over here is responsible for executing a large number of warps. And so there is a queue of warps that are waiting to execute. In every cycle, you're going to pick a ready warp from here and execute it on that SIMT core. If that warp has nothing to do in a cycle, then you put it back into the queue and you pick a different warp that is ready to execute. Now each warp itself has a lot of work that it has to do, and so that work is itself partitioned into many units over here. And similarly, the hardware itself is partitioned into many in-order pipelines. So each pipeline over here is referred to as a SIMD lane. And so each component of the warp gets to execute on a separate SIMD lane. Okay, so you're essentially seeing this hierarchy where a given amount of work is partitioned into thread blocks, warps, and threads within a warp. And then similarly, the hardware itself has this hierarchical pattern where you have many SIMT cores, and each SIMT core is partitioned into its own in-order pipeline. And you have
Sound resumed.
ভাই
দেখেন
আমি ভাই
এই পিকচারটা দেখেন
এই যে এই উপরে যে জেড তাই না হর্ষবর্ধন না
না না এটা ইয়ে কি নাম নেভার এন্ড
আচ্ছা আমার বন্ধু